Hi, I'm City Manager Ed Zerker, and welcome to another edition of On the Job, the show where we talk to Phoenix employees about the work they do every day. Customer service is our #1 priority in Phoenix, and it's important for us to serve all of our customers. I'm here today with Detective Wally Olsen of the Traffic, Education, Safety Unit of the Phoenix Police Department.
It's a lot to say.
It is a lot to say, but thanks for joining me today.
Pleasure to be here today, sir. Thank you.
Great to be here. So you just recently won an award from the Mayor's Commission on Disability Issues, which has to do with being an advocate for the disabled. Tell us a little bit about your job and how that relates to the award you just won.
Well, first of all, it was amazing, and I was surprised and honored. It was just a special time in my life. But I've been with the police department for about 30 years, and back in May of 2003, I started with this current position, which is the Traffic Education Safety Unit, and one of my responsibilities is I manage the accessibility, compliance, enforcement program volunteers. And it's a force of folks that go out every day in our community here in the city of Phoenix. They do it for free, and they do enforcement as it relates to disability or disabled parking spaces. And it's grown from there. I've built a relationship up with different businesses, and then also members of the community that work with the disabilities folks and stuff, and it's just been an amazing opportunity for me.
So we're here at a space.
We are.
And we sort of take that for granted now, but a person with disabilities would not take for granted a space availability. So how does your job relate to making sure that those spaces are used appropriately, or how does that interact?
That's a great question. So currently it's an ADA requirement that 2 to 4% of every parking lot be delineated for disability parking. And we are serving a community by some numbers. I heard the mayor recently say that the census indicates that roughly 30% of the folks in our community have some level of a disability. And I know that there's 7 to 15% of the community has a need for disability parking as well. So we want to make sure that those spots are available for people with disabilities. And if they're misused or they're not properly maintained, then a person comes there that has a disability, they can't physically go inside the building. They can't take and do the things that you and I take for granted every day. They just want safe, accessible access to the things and places that we go to every day as well. So the city, which is a fantastic deal, again in May of 2000, it was the brainchild of the Mayor's Commission on Disabilities Issues, came up with the Save Our Space program, and this is just one aspect of the program is the enforcement element, and that's the element that I manage.
So we're coming up on the holidays, which is
a
time when we really do extra enforcement for Save Our Space. Talk a little bit about the people who help you out with the Save Our Space campaign and how that works, because you have a lot of volunteers in this.
Well, obviously during the holiday season, the demand on parking grows exponentially.
Sure.
So again, I can't help or overemphasize the importance that we live in an inclusive community. And Phoenix does more than probably any other city in Arizona, and probably across the country in many ways, to be inclusive, particularly for our members of the community that have disabilities. And so during the holiday season, we take our volunteers and we encourage them to go out and they patrol parking lots, well, like in shopping malls and those kinds of places. And if they find somebody parked in the disabled space that doesn't have the disability plate or placard displayed, they write them a ticket. And currently, you know, when we first started the program, sir, we were writing about 3,000 tickets a year, which is amazing, and they're expensive tickets. And in the course of the last 10 years that I've been managing the program or coordinating the program, we're down to like 1,500 tickets a year. I really feel like we've made a big difference in the community. It's harder and harder every day to find people violating the ordinance, which is fantastic. That's what our goal is.
Right?
That is the goal. And you know what's nice is it's one of the rare tickets where we get people come out and go, oh, thank goodness there's somebody that is writing this ticket and cares about it. I wish more communities had a program like this, but it's fantastic. It's been amazing.
Now, education is in the title of the unit you're in.
That's correct.
Talk a little bit about the balance you have to strike between education and enforcement. You talked about it with spaces for disabilities, but so some part you want to educate, but you also need to enforce. So how do you balance that in your work?
Well, that's a great point too. So what happens is there are some monies that are given to the Mayor's Commission for them to advertise. They use like movie theater, for instance, different places. They have a fairly small budget, but they put the message out there that these spaces need to be honored, that not to misuse the parking spaces. I do a fair amount of like radio shows or news shows whenever I possibly can to get the message out there that the disabled space is really, really important. Just getting out in the community, visiting with people. I spent today, for instance, the first 2 hours of my shift teaching a class to our aviation employees, our landside operation folks, talking about the disability parking programs and stuff. So do a fair amount of just communicating to the people in the community the value of the disabled spaces. So that's the educational component that we have.
Now, police officer by day,
right?
30 years doing that.
Sure.
But you also, by night, are an educator. Tell us a little bit about that,
Well,
that passion of yours.
That's nice. My education is my degree is in education, and I've been honored to be a policeman for, it's been 30 years. I can't think of a better job for me in the course of the last 30 years, but I am excited about the next chapter in my life, and I do have a degree in education. I teach at one of the junior colleges, and it's just been amazing. Sometimes I struggle with, what do I like more, being a police officer or being a teacher? They're just both amazing jobs, and I've liked every minute of it. It's just been fun.
Tell us about your path as a police officer. So you've been doing this for 30 years.
I have.
You started and you've grown into this. What's that journey been for you?
Well, it's nice. I was born and raised in Phoenix, so this is my home, and it always has been my home. And my father was a police officer with Phoenix in the 60s and the early 70s, and so I think that's probably what started me in that direction. So I think at an early age I thought possibly I'd like to be a police officer. I started in a different community, not Phoenix, but a community next to Phoenix, but I recognized I wanted to work for Phoenix, so I transitioned over to Phoenix, and I spent the majority of my career in South Phoenix. I love South Phoenix. That's where I'm the most comfortable. I met my wife in South Phoenix, and that's where I went to high school as well, so it's been a blast. I did the patrol work for a period of time, and then I was a motorcycle police officer for a period of time, and then I transitioned to the fatal team. I was a fatal detective for about 7 years.
That's a tough job.
It is a tough job,
Yeah.
but it also it gives you a really interesting perspective on life. When you deal with life and death situations, it makes you appreciate things a little bit more. So it was an amazing experience, and one I wouldn't have traded for anything else. But then I transitioned over to the traffic safety group, and I'm probably doing the job that I've loved the most. It's easy to advocate for people with disabilities because they're such amazing people. I've learned that I guess my perception initially was that people with disabilities might have, they do have challenges, but I think that gentleman the other day said it, they're not made of glass.
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually found where they're stronger than me. It's just amazing that when you see somebody with a disability, oftentimes they're way stronger than we are. And they're just amazing people. And it's so rewarding to advocate for people that are as special as folks with disabilities are. And I don't know, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it's just been an amazing ride. And it's one I'm very grateful for.
Well, your passion really comes through.
Thanks.
Finally, you not only won an award from the commission, but they actually now have named the award for you. It's a Lifetime Achievement Award named in your honor, and you're a humble guy. I know you didn't seek that, but talk just a second about what that means to you, that legacy in that community.
Well, it is humbling, and again, I don't always feel worthy of such recognition because, like I said, the Mayor's Commission, for instance, many of the folks on the commission have disabilities, and by far they do so many more amazing things than I've ever done in my life. And so I'm humbled just to be in their presence, and to think that they would name something after me is very special to me. I don't know how much more time I have left on this earth, but even when I leave my employment here with the City of Phoenix, I'll always be a strong advocate for people with disability. This will carry on for me for the rest of my life. I think before we started talking today, I told you this is working for the city, and I'm not just saying that because you're my boss in a sense, but because I'm leaving soon, probably in the next year or so I'll be leaving. But this has just been an amazing ride. This is just a great place to work. I can't believe the city's given me this opportunity. Kudos to the mayor, the council, and everyone else that allows us, or me in particular, to be a badged advocate for people with disabilities. It's just, I'm the luckiest guy in the whole world. And you know, I can't say enough about the folks at the Mayor's Commission and how nice they've been to me. But it's quite an honor to have the award. I was definitely humbled by it, and it was amazing.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you for sharing your passion for police work in the community with all of us.
Thanks for letting me work here.
Appreciate
Enjoyed
that.
it.
Detective Olsen is a great example of the many city employees who are committed to customer service every day. And if you'd like to learn more about the Save Our Space campaign or have questions for Detective Olsen, call the number on your screen. For On the Job, I'm City Manager Ed Zerker.